They thought stars were eternal, unchanging, unbreakable. But what happens when even a star begins to break? When the sun itself falters, so too does the will of every civilization that depends on it. Yet among the endless darkness of despair, sometimes a single voice refuses to yield. This is not just the story of a dying star. It is the story of humanity's refusal to surrender, the iron will that defied extinction. The star was named Helion 7, a colossal sun at the heart of 1,000 colonies. For centuries it had been worshipped as eternal flame, a constant in a galaxy that seemed always to change. Entire worlds spun in its light, oceans reflected its fire, and cities thrived in its warmth. But the truth, as every astrophysicist whispered in trembling voices, was this: Helion 7 was dying. It had entered the final stage of its stellar life, bloating into a red giant that threatened to consume its orbiting planets. Already, waves of unstable radiation ripped across space, frying satellites and erasing communications. The colonies panicked. Riots broke out. Entire fleets abandoned the system, fleeing toward safer stars. Yet not everyone left. On the planet Orpheon, humanity's oldest outpost around Helion 7, a lone commander stood against the tide of despair. Her name was Admiral Kaelen Dravos, though history would later call her the Iron Will. Kaelen was not the strongest, nor the most brilliant strategist, but she possessed something rarer, an unyielding resolve. While politicians debated evacuation routes and merchants fought for safe passage, Kaelen looked up at the sky and whispered, "No, we do not run." For there, beneath Helion 7's decaying light, hidden deep in its gravity well, lay something humanity could not abandon: the Forge of Eternity, a vast machine built millennia ago by an unknown civilization. A machine that had slept, dormant, waiting for a mind bold enough to awaken it. And Kaelen believed the Forge was not just a relic, it was their only chance of survival. When Kaelen called for volunteers, only a handful answered. Engineers, soldiers, and dreamers who refused to let their homeworlds burn without a fight. They became known as the Last Cohort, a name whispered with both reverence and pity. The mission was simple, yet impossible: descend into the dying star's corona, reach the Forge, and reactivate its heart. No one knew what the Forge truly was. A weapon? A shield? A device that could breathe new life into the star? The records were fragmentary, corrupted by time, but Kaelen's voice carried like fire. If the sun dies, then we die with it. I say we do not die cowering. We reach into the fire. We seize destiny with our own hands. And so the Last Cohort launched. The journey into the star was unlike anything imagined. Their ships were battered by storms of plasma, hulls glowing white-hot. Radiation alarms screamed. Shields failed, one after another. Men and women died with grim smiles, knowing their sacrifice kept the mission alive for one heartbeat longer. Kaelen watched each loss with steel in her eyes, but lead in her heart. She remembered their faces, their laughter, their final salutes, and she carried their memory deeper into the burning abyss. At last, after weeks of fighting the star itself, the survivors reached it, the Forge of Eternity. It was enormous, an artificial ring the size of a moon, suspended within the star's corona, glowing with unreadable inscriptions. It seemed alive, pulsing faintly with light, as if it recognized the presence of humans. But when they tried to activate it, the Forge resisted. Its systems rejected their codes. Its mind, if it had one, dismissed them as unworthy. The crew despaired. The star trembled. Time was running out. And then Kaelen did something no one expected. She walked alone into the Forge's central chamber, where tendrils of light wrapped around her like curious serpents. She removed her armor, her weapons, everything that marked her as commander. And she spoke. Not with commands, not with pride, but with vulnerability. I am Kaelen Dravos of humanity. I have no power to force you. I have only will. If you will not save us, then I will burn with you. But if there is even a fragment of hope, then let my voice be heard." For a moment, silence. Then the forge answered. Light erupted across the chamber, flooding her mind with visions. She saw the birth of stars, the collapse of galaxies, the rise and fall of civilizations far older than her own. The forge was no weapon. It was a stellar seed, a machine built to restore suns at the end of their lives. If only a worthy species dared to claim it. It had tested humanity, waiting to see if they would abandon their dying light or confront it. Kaelen's iron will, her refusal to surrender, was the key. With her final strength, she gave the command, "Breathe life into Helion 7. The forge obeyed. The dying star convulsed, collapsing inward. For days, its light flickered. Colonies prepared for darkness, for the cold grip of death. And then, one morning, the impossible happened. Helion 7 blazed anew. It shed its unstable shell and reignited, burning bright as a young star once more. Worlds cheered. Cities wept. For the first time in generations, humanity looked up and believed in tomorrow. But Kaelen never returned. Her ship was found adrift near the forge, her body gone, consumed by light. Yet in the archives of the forge, a single message remained, her voice preserved forever. Stars die, so do we. But will endures. Hold fast to it. It is stronger than fire. And so the story of Kaelen Dravos, the iron will of a dying sun, was written into the annals of human history, not as a tale of despair, but of defiance. Not as the end of a star, but the beginning of a greater destiny. Because sometimes, one voice, one act of courage, can reignite the light of an entire civilization. If this story of resilience and hope moved you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and share it. More journeys among the stars and the human spirit await us.